Hey, it's Noah. Welcome back to iHollywood TV, where our next guest just dropped her highly anticipated sophomore album, Glory Hour. She's here to talk all about it and much more. Please welcome artist Victory joining us on Zoom. Hi, Victory.
Hi, Noah. Thanks for having me.
It's so nice to have you on our show joining us from Zoom today. So, Victory, first off, you just dropped your highly anticipated sophomore album, Glory Hour, as I mentioned at the top. But how long of a process did it take to create the album? And what was your initial thought process to name the album Glory Hour?
Yeah. I really believe that this album is a culmination of my entire life's experiences boiled down into one album. And I say this because, you know, there's a there's just like in anyone's lives, there's a thread of ups and downs. There's a thread of darkness and glory. And the idea of this album is it's a metaphor for that time of day when the sun rises, and in that appointed time, the sky goes from completely dark to completely consumed in glory, just that fast in that particular hour. And so my idea with this album is to inspire people to wait for a glory hour. It might be dark, but you never know. Glory hour might just be tomorrow if you just hold on tomorrow. And if it's not tomorrow, then it could very much be the next day. And so, because when it happens suddenly, and so it's a principle that I've found to be true all throughout my life. And another thing about Glory Hour is that it's a metaphor, because in the same way that only the sun has the authority to swallow up darkness, you know, we can light our candles, we can turn the lights on, we can even have flashing billboards, and all these things make life a little less dark, but they don't have the authority to eradicate darkness. Only the sun has that authority. And so I know not everyone is religious per se, but I want to
Right.
challenge people with this album, with the idea that even if you don't have the authority to make all the darkness in your life be gone, there is a power that does. And that power is specific to the glory of Jesus Christ. And 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 I want to inspire people in their moments of deep darkness, um, that they can put an expectation on the Son of God, that perhaps if you put that same expectation on another source, it might let you down. But I've, throughout my lifetime, have been able to prove and test the faithfulness of the glory of the Son of God. And so that's what the whole metaphor is. And, I'm coming from Jay-Z's record label. This is like, I'm coming from a place where this is not the normal message that people share. But, since the pandemic and all of the darkness that I personally have experienced, from losing a lot of my career, losing a lot of, just different assets and things,
Right.
I, finding a higher power to put my faith and hope in, and then receiving the grace to overcome all of this. That's been my theme, and I want to genuinely just help people with the same answers that I've been helped with. And so that's my thing with this album.
Now, Victory, most of the songs on Glory Hour, they seek to uplift the soul in dark times. Basically what you were just saying, we all need something that can uplift us, especially through the rough times that we've all been through together as a country, as a nation, with the COVID pandemic. But, talk to me on how important that was to really have an album to help people during tough times.
Yeah. I think that's always a wonderful goal to have, to create something that is useful and effective for people's actual needs. But in order to do that, I first had to create something that was useful and effective to meet my needs. And that was my only goal at first. I didn't even realize that I would be sharing this album with the world. I thought I was making something for my own mental health and for my own survival. And then when I realized how I really found a way to overcome through these songs, I was like, don't be selfish, share with everybody,
Mhm.
And so that was kind of like my thing with this album.
Now, Victory, let's touch on your touring because you are currently traveling to select cities with your Revealed tour. How has the tour life been like for you so far?
It's been great. We just came from Colorado. It was amazing. Uh, yeah, I love
It's
the
very
mountains.
cold up there, huh?
Kinda, depending on the altitude of where you are. It
Yeah.
wasn't bad where we were. Now we're in Seattle. We have a show here tonight in Seattle, and tomorrow we'll be in Portland, and then we'll be in San Francisco, and
Wow.
then Santa Monica. So we're making a run for it, and it's awesome. It's like a marathon. You got to stay grounded. This is again one of those things, those needs that
Mm,
okay, you're going marathon. You could easily, burn out, and I
mm,
don't care. I don't care what religion you are. Like you could easily burn out. So you have to find, okay, what is an answer that God has for my burnout? It's
mm.
like a daily practical kind of situation of growing and learning. But we're having a good time. We're staying with our spirits up, and yeah.
Now, Victory, do you have any tour pre-show rituals or anything that you do to prep, before taking the stage to perform?
You know, it's always different, but for the most part, I like to stay in gratitude.
Mm,
And I gotta surrender everything that, because like I'm meticulous when it comes to music, and I believe that these live performances, the whole point is to mark people's memories forever. It's almost like a tattoo in your
mm,
memory bank. And so even though it's just 2 hours, just 90 minutes, whatever it may be, like I want to put 100,000% of my effort into having the maximum, most impactful experience for every listener. Um,
mhm,
but with that comes a lot of, uh, you know, just trying to control and how excellent the performance is going to be and all of these things.
yeah.
Before the show, you have to let all of that go. You have to realize that whatever happens, like I did my best, and now I have to just let it all go, and whatever happens happens, and just go through this practice of being thankful and giving
Mm,
gratitude for everything that is, and
mhm,
making and so that way it helps you not to get up there and be frustrated if somebody hits a bad note, or if I crack, or if
mhm,
like because you surrendered the whole show at that point. And so that's
mhm.
kind of like what I have to do before stepping out there.
That is such a great message to share to upcoming inspiring artists that are wanting to get into the game. Like, that's such great info that they can take knowledge with them, to say that, I'm not going to be perfect when I get up there on stage. I might mess up a little here and there, but, it just shows that we're all human. But I do want to point out to the audience your music is a style between soul music and folk music. What made you fall in love with that specific genre of music?
Uh, Storytelling. Um, I've always been a storyteller. I remember I was in seventh grade, and my teacher gave us a homework assignment to write two um, essays,
Mm,
and I wrote both essays, and she was crying when she read them, and she was just saying they were so profound and so remarkable. Um,
mm.
my uh, my thought process and my ability to express myself, and so
And do you
yeah,
remember what you wrote?
I I I, I, I think the essay topic, one of them had to do with children less fortunate. something. Yeah, something. I don't remember what I wrote, but I knew that was the topic for one of them. But the ability to sit down and explain my thoughts and not have to get them in such a small, like, just a couple sentences. Like pop songs, a lot of times it's really not about how detail oriented the story is.
Right.
You know, I love Tracy Chapman. You know, like you listen to Fast Car, you can feel the humanity and the penmanship, the imagery, the storyline. And I also love about folk, a lot of times it's real, it's authentic. It's like you don't have to pretend to be something that you're not. The art form is all about authentically expressing exactly who you are and where you are. And the listeners of it already accepted that, you know, we love this music because of the honest, authentic life that's being shared through it. And so there's also a respect for people's stories as well. When people consume folk music, you kind of have a license to just be who you are, even if people don't agree with it. And so, yeah, I like to just be honest, and I also appreciate not being canceled for being honest.
You know, I completely agree with what you're saying. You know, I think that so many people, they share their honesty and then they get canceled. And you know, we're living in tough barriers where, you know, like, what can we share? What can we not share? You know, like some people can share more than others. And we're like, you know, that's just not fair. Like, I completely understand where you're coming from, Victory. And, you know, you mentioned Tracy Chapman. Some say that you're in the lane of Tracy Chapman. I mean, like, how does that even make you feel to be compared to someone like that?
Well, it's a responsibility and it's an honor, you know, because even though Tracy Chapman, she's still alive, she hasn't been active in releasing music, but there's a very much a need for that someone to fill that role in society and just be create truthful, honest music as a Black woman. You know what I mean? Even though her sound was so universal, it wasn't just for Black people, but it's very remarkable that a Black woman in that era could have that license to be that honest and that real, even just with her hair alone. Oftentimes there's not a confidence that we could wear our real hair and be just as valuable and just as validated and accepted. And, you know, her whole thing, her whole dynamic that she projected into the world was just this like courageous, vulnerability, you know what I mean? And in front of all the world, and we loved her for it, and we still do. And so, you know, I want to be that same. I want to carry that same mantle.
Oh, very, very well said, Victory. Well, I have no doubt that you will. And, you know, leads me to the last question. You know, what's next for you, Victory? Like, you know, you're on a tour right now. You have currently your sophomore album, Glory Hour, that's out. What would you like to hopefully accomplish within the coming years in your music journey?
Yeah, well, a lot of music. I've been sitting on a couple of albums, so Glory Hour is just one of the few. Next year, I'm going to release my my third album called Confessions of a Lonely Girl, and it's like very honest, very like it's getting in there to.
It's getting deep.
Like, it's very deep, all about relationships from a woman's perspective and all of the frustrations, the fears, the joys, the hopes, all the things, and helping people process these feelings and emotions and thoughts and hopefully arrive at a place where they are, inspire people to arrive at a place where they give themselves permission to love and be loved. And so that's the whole theme of that album.
Well, Victory, it's been so nice to have you on our show on iHollywood TV. Glory Hour is now available to stream and listen to from Victory. Thank you so much for joining me on iHollywood TV. So nice to meet you.
Thank you, Noah. It's been a pleasure.
Hey, it's Noah, and I have some great news for you. We're now streaming on Fossum. The Must Watch Show is a weekly lifestyle series that shares informative information to help the viewer live an easier and better lifestyle with some of today's hottest deals and finds, along with interviews and fashion and the arts. I'll see you guys on Fossum because they're awesome.